Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Sell certainty in uncertain times. Now, I don't know about you, but we've just come from one of the biggest episodes in human culture where uncertainty actually made people change their behavior, even if they didn't. If you would have noticed, a lot of people were panic buying, toilet paper, and it was bizarre. People didn't understand why. It was only because the people that were doing that wanted to regain a sense of control at the start of the pandemic. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, where is he going with all of this? Okay, I want you to actually recognize that human beings crave for certainty. Okay, so the most powerful sales approach that you can actually put out in your marketplace or to your audience is to actually take advantage of this craving for certainty. And how does that work now as a coach or consultant or small to medium business who is just literally trying to create a business that's profitable and enjoyable? I want to show you something. People buy from those that they know, like, and trust. Okay. And when you have created trust, around the work that you're putting out there, your products and your services, it then creates that sense of certainty that people are going to, get their problems solved or the solutions to those problems. And in essence, sales just boils down to trust. All right. If you can trust somebody that they have your best interest, in mind, and they're gonna give you a solution to whatever you're facing right now, you're likely gonna buy from them, and your customers are likely to buy from you if they think they can trust you. So if people get a sense that they are being looked after and that they are not going to be making a mistake, then definitely they're going to be paying. But if people get a sense that you don't care, or whoever they're talking to, the service provider, doesn't care about their needs or doesn't even care about knowing who they are or finding a solution for them, and they're just merely trying to put one over them or maybe just make a sale, chances are your customers are not going to part with their hard-earned money. All right. So when you create a sense of certainty in the solutions that you provide, you definitely will be able to build that foundation of trust that people are craving. And we all understand and know, deeply that people buy from those that they know, like, and trust. Okay. So just so this is not going to be a confusing episode or things of that nature, I just really want you to understand that, people are going to be buying, from an emotional standpoint, okay? And then they justify that purchase with logic. So if you're providing health, wealth, or relationships out there, you want to appeal to people's emotions first. And once their emotions covered, then they will actually start listening to you enough to then be certain that you're the right, person that will provide them that solution. Okay. Now, that logic and that emotion, I want us to step it down a little bit of a notch. Okay. So that you can simply have an understanding of what I'm talking about here, because that might be a subject that a lot of people, might not be well versed with. So to put it at its simplest, our brains have a smart side, which is basically the logic, and they have an incredibly dumb side, which is the emotion. And I'm saying this with utmost love and respect, and I will try and let you know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. Okay, so the smart side is the logic that looks at numbers, that looks at figures, that calculates and crunches data. And then there's the dumb side that goes on feeling, that goes on just by looks, things of that nature. So our clients are obviously going through all of these emotions and all of these logical decisions, and we just need to be there to help them, make those decisions, and that way they'll be able to buy from us. So like I said, to put it simply, our brains just have a smart side and an incredibly dumb side, all right? So, if you're just wanting to understand, and I'm going to be saying this without having to go into any political correctness. I mean, if you're an internet explorer, you understand what I'm talking about. And if you're triggered by what I'm saying about, right now, I think there's a deeper issue that you need to maybe face. What I'm just saying is there's a smart side and a dumb side. There's black, there's white, there's yin, there's yang. Let's move on with our lives. Okay. So the scary thing about this dumb side is that this dumb side actually has much more influence over the decisions that we make. We make so many of the emotional decisions first, and a lot of us coaches and consultants are not appealing to that emotional side of things. You know what I mean? There's a book, I think it was written by Daniel Goleman, about emotional intelligence, okay? And it really tells us how we can appeal and step into somebody else's shoes. And once we step into somebody else's shoes, they now assume you literally understand what it is that they are craving for or what they're looking for. Once you step into somebody else's shoes, or if you can articulate somebody else's problem better than they can articulate it themselves, they assume you have a solution and you are already halfway to making that sale. So if you find yourself not being able to close as many clients as possible, maybe you're not justifying their failures. You're not explaining to them why they haven't been able to have good health, good wealth, or good relationships, and why your solutions will be the thing that they're looking for in their life. Maybe you're not even encouraging their dreams, because everyone has hopes and dreams, maybe to be a better dad, a better father, a better anything else on, or in their life. They want to have personal security. They want to have good employment, or run a business that's profitable and enjoyable. No matter what their dreams are, those appeal to their emotional side, right? And then you also want to be there to help them throw rocks at their enemies. The thing that is keeping them up at night, what is that thing? Have you been, through that sort of problem that they're facing enough for you to give them an answer? Or do you know people, or have you helped other people to cross over that bridge? So that's helping them cross, throw rocks at their enemies. And once you've done that, you can influence them, and it makes it easy for them to make that logical decision, that, for them to process the credit card in order to buy whatever services or products that you might be selling. So if you're going out there with your consulting, your training, your information, your expertise, and you're cold calling people and nobody's responding, or they don't even thank you for reaching out on cold email, that's probably because you're probably leading data first, or you're probably leading with the logical side of things, which not a lot of people understand. Okay, there's no logic in why so many people went out of their way to stock up on toilet paper. When the pandemic hit, that was an emotional reaction. That was when people thought, okay, oh my God, if I'm going to be stuck at home, I don't want to then not be able to go to the toilet. That was an emotional decision. If you asked anybody who did that at that time, they don't have a logical explanation as to why they made that purchase. So you need to take advantage of that, human aspect. All right. You see, right now we're all selling in a volatile and uncertain environment where we have a lot of market downturns, there's impending lockdowns. People are talking about climate change, this, depending on what political spectrum or side of the coin you are, there's still opportunity. There's still a lot more opportunity in all this craziness that's happening in the world right now. You know what I mean? But you just have to take a look, at how you are putting out your content, how you have identified your market, how you have clarified your message. And you need to be able to spot these opportunities as they rise up. You know what I mean? And maybe you want to sell something extra, which basically encourages your customers to stop sitting on their hand. And that thing that you need to be selling is certainty. Okay? Our clients, whenever they are faced with uncertainty, they are like a deer in headlights. They probably just really inundated and overwhelmed with all the opportunities and the fear that's being perpetrated by the media out there. You want them to reach out and say, yes, this is the one thing that we need to be working on no matter what. The reason why I'm saying this is I work in marketing, and normally when markets at a downturn or there's maybe lockdowns, the first thing that goes within any business is the marketing budget. People don't spend when they're scared. Okay, so this is why I put out this podcast. This is why I put out value. This is why I put out, information to educate my audience so that they're ready for when times like this happen. And I'm the, trusted advisor for when they need services like mine to come through. So you start creating those relationships. You start warming up these people before the need arises for them to make a logical decision. Like I said, what's scary about the dumb side or the emotional side of our brain is that it's got much of the influence that we have, and it makes us make these decisions that are not rational. And sometimes we wonder why somebody had to do certain things at a certain time. And let me tell you something. This is particularly true when it comes to people's hopes for the future. And I understand as a coach or consultant, you're probably selling people their health, right? You're probably selling people their wealth, their relationships, and you're probably telling them, everything is going to be fine. They should, keep working on those relationships, or they should keep investing, in volatile markets and things like that. If you tell people in a logical manner, they're not going to listen to you. All right? And this is one of the biggest growth, seasons in the history that we have. I think it was Warren Buffett that mentioned that when the street is oozing blood, that's when you want to, be on the offense and go all in. All right, not for you to sit on your hands and wait until the market corrects itself. So this is where, if you're a financial planner or if you're a wealth advisor, you really want your clients to be emotionally connected to your message, emotionally connected to your vision, your plan, and whatever goals they have, so that you can then be able to charge them when they show up on your desk. So one of the biggest sales opportunities right now is to sell what your customers really want. You want to sell certainty. All right. In a world where everything is going haywire around them, you want to be the constant. You want to be the certain, trusted advisor that they can turn to no matter what. All right. You see, your customers need certainty. They need to build trust. They need to help them, progress with their marketing. They need to progress with their health, their wealth, or whatever relationships that they engaged in right now. You need to be able to help them to choose what to buy, to choose the right path. And this is one thing that your customers don't want to do. Your customer does not want to make a mistake, no matter what. Okay. So you want to be giving your customers certainty at any touch point that you have in the buyer's journey, okay? So that you are going to be the most referred to or the most preferred advisor, come what may, all right? So you want to include stories in whatever you're talking about. Get away from the data and the doom and gloom and things of that nature. You want to be the person that sells hope. You want to be the person that sells optimism. You want to be the person that is actually helping your clients, but actually helping them. All right. So to just illustrate what I mean, just so that you have an understanding and this actually starts to make sense. So imagine maybe there's two health experts and maybe is health a good example here? Let me think this through. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Imagine there's two health experts and both of whom are going to give you advice. Let's pick a topic like, say, maybe losing weight. And specifically, they're going to tell us how to lose maybe, 10 kilos over the course of the next 30 days. All right. So maybe that's what you want to do. You want to get rid of that COVID belly or those COVID pounds or things of that nature. And the first expert that comes to you is like maybe a doctor. And he's a researcher, okay? And he's got science oozing all over him. And he's got the white, clean, crisp dust coat and that stethoscope hanging over his shoulders. And he's been studying weight loss for over 30 years, all right? And then he comes in and he talks about all the multiple influences that are involved, okay? So he goes in and he talks about genetics. He talks about the diet, your food choices. He talks about exercise. Maybe he talks about your genealogy or your gene sequencing and your family dynamics. And maybe he goes in and then touches on mental health and whatever stresses you might have with your kids, your work, your family, and things of that nature. And maybe he also then goes in and says, you know what? When it's, during winter, a lot of people pile on, fat. You know why? Because it keeps them warm. And then he explains the whole complexity of the weight loss and how one might plan, how one might plan their diet, and something might work for another person and another thing might not work for another person. And then he says he wants to give you a diet or a plan that sequences your genes and it's directly connected to your ancestors and things of that nature. And he makes maybe some general recommendations, but then he qualifies his advice by pointing out that, there's multiple variables involved. Okay. So you're already confused. Okay, you're already thinking maybe my genetics is not going to work out. I've got an African diet, or I've got a pasta diet like my wife who's Italian, or I've got a Chinese diet. Is this going to work? Exercise, I hardly exercise. I don't, lift heavy things, and my family is stressing me and things of that nature. Work is, oh my God. And you start thinking there's so much to pack in or to take in from this expert. Now let's get to our second expert. Remember, we've got two. And this expert is a naturopath. And it doesn't really matter. They're just maybe this alternative person. So he comes in, he ignores all those variables about genetics, about your family and things of that nature, and anything that complicates the whole weight loss. And instead he just walks in and talks about a miracle herb that has been taken by people from an Amazon tribe where no man dares to reach. Okay. And he tells a compelling story. He tells of how the chief of the Amazon tribe has to go and sit in a mountain for 3 days in order to be shown the path to where to get this simple tea and this herb. Okay. And then he shares this anecdote that shows how many people have died on the way to find this simple herb, which if you just take it as a tea or as a supplement in your food, it will shed weight effortlessly. You actually feel the burn in your stomach, while the herb is working, burning the fat that was accumulating in your stomach, and it automatically brings down your, to your ideal weight. Okay. And for his advice, he suggests that you buy this tea right now because it only works, over a certain period, maybe during a weekend only. And you don't have to maybe change your lifestyle at all. And it doesn't even matter what you eat or whether you exercise or whether you're stressed or you're not. Just drink the tea and prepare to be amazed. All right. And he even warns you not to wear a jersey while or a jacket while you wear it, because you might just have hot flushes and you won't understand where they're coming from. Okay. So above all, the second expert offers certainty. He just tells you, drink this tea and you will lose weight. drink this tea and your worries will be over. So while you're thinking about this or listening to this, I want you to imagine, okay, is it self-evident that the first expert would have to work a lot, and it's very difficult for anyone to believe because there's so many moving parts to his solution. However, at the end of the day, you'd also know that the first expert is the person that actually has the true answer. All right, some magic herb is not gonna turn your life around. Never. Okay, that's just a placebo. All right, you need to have all these things in check. You need to understand your family dynamics, your genetics, and all those things, and find out what your ideal weight is, and then work towards that. But let me tell you something: you will never find our expert number one on a TV, or somebody lining up to be their influencer, or somebody lining up to interview them for a blog post or podcast like this. But the second one, who just has this magic miracle potion, you don't have to change your lifestyle or things like that. That's the person we hear about all the time. There's always this diet, this this 1 minute ab thing, or 6 minute workout that's revolutionary, and the fact that it's coming from some Amazon place where nobody dares to go, that just creates that intrigue, and people just want to try it out because you know what? It's certain, all right? The fact that people have died to get this herb, just proves and puts that social proof that this thing is that potent. This thing is going to work immediately, and people just want things that are certain. So you'll see that the second person that I talked about, who talked about the people in the Amazon River, they will have a best-selling book. They will have TV shows thrown at them, all the publicity that you can think of. The first one, who is talking about logic and things of that nature, will never make $1 million sharing this expertise. But the second one will. So as I mentioned at the beginning, we all have a smart side to our brains and an incredibly dumb side, all right? And the dumb side craves certainty. And we want to know for certain that we're going to lose that 10 kilos in that particular month that we engage, or that we start sipping on that miracle herb. We want to know that if we go in and buy a home or a house, that the price will increase in about 5 years. We want people to guarantee their work for us to engage with them. We want to know that our team is the one that's going to win the grand final or the Super Bowl. We want to know if we are going to be able to find love, or if we are going to be able to get a promotion at work, or if we're going to be guaranteed a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And as soon as we want to know something, we start seeking out the answers. And guess what? There's always people that have created, content. There's always people that have created podcasts like this that answer certain questions. And that starts to create the certainty that our clients are craving. People don't want uncertain answers. They want certainty, all right? So, and let me tell you something. This need for wanting certainty will actually make people vulnerable. All right, we are so vulnerable to our need for certainty, and even if it doesn't exist, people just want to be assured. All right, and we then turn to the next charismatic person, whether they're an expert or not. If somebody just answers confidently in a certain way and appeals to our emotion, guess what? That person is getting all our money. So at this point, the dumb side of that brain is the one that actually takes total control of the decision-making process. People respond to a lot of our coaching, consulting, training, information, or expertise emotionally. All right? That's why there's that guy on TikTok that goes, emotional damage. Use that to your advantage, all right? All right, so the dumb side, which is the emotional side, is the one that takes total control of all the decisions that we make, regardless of the fact that our smart side actually knows that we're being suckered in. Even if people know they're being taken for a ride. Have you ever seen people that gamble? They know they're not going to win the lottery. They know they're not going to win the slot machine. But the fact that somebody won, that gave them that emotional suck in to say, you know what, that could be me next time. That could be me. Or if somebody wins and then they jump off the table and go and collect their winnings, you see a lot of people crowding to go back to that machine because they think it's that machine that made that person win. Isn't that stupid? But people do it. And that's why casinos open 24/7, because there's dumb people out there that are willing to be certain they will make a killing or just win the lottery or things of that nature. Even if we know we're being suckered in. People just want certainty in their life. So you as a coach or consultant, you need to take advantage of that. Particularly if people are looking into their future and the things that we work on, which is maybe their health, their wealth, or relationships. The dumb side, the emotional side, is the one that wins all the time. And this is true about any of the choices that we make. I gave an example earlier on about people buying toilet paper. There's no logic in that. Where are you going to store it and how much are you going to be eating? Up until you want to utilize all that toilet paper. Even we see it in politics. Let's say there's two people or two candidates that want to be a president. So the first one is talking about creating 1 million jobs and everything that people are talking about, lowering taxes and so many things, and just looking at what's happening in the global scene. They will tell you that they will lower inflation. That's ridiculous. You can't do that, especially in the term that you're working in. And then maybe the second one just comes in, has no knowledge of economics, but just has total confidence and has got a slogan, "We will make great again," and promises 2 million jobs. Looks straight in the TV camera and promises that he can create those 2 million jobs with absolute certainty. Guess what happens? The first president, obviously, yes, he's smart. He appeals to the logic side of our brains. But the second guy appeals to the dumb side, the emotional side. And who's going to get most votes? Who's going to win this election? Who's going to get the most votes? It's the second guy, of course, right? So the dumb side of our brain always overwhelms us, when it comes to making these decisions. We give into our craving for certainty, So if you know this about people, even yourself or whatever it is, it actually gives you a powerful tool in order for you to create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Offer certainty. Offer social proof. Write with absolute confidence. Speak with absolute confidence. Do not distract the reader with complexities or variables or jargon that they don't even want to understand, even though you know, right, what it is that they're looking for. Sell them what they want and give them what they need. All right? I'm not suggesting you go out there and be dishonest. Far from it. I mean, obviously, yes, we're marketers. Then they'll be like, I got you. Far from it. Instead, you want to look at, you want to look through the facts and then find a thread, find a story. Don't sell features, sell futures. And tell a simple story without any ifs or buts or maybes. Just be confident with what you're saying and what you're delivering, because these people are looking for an expert. They're not looking for an order taker. All right? They're not looking for an order taker. They're looking for an expert who will deliver them from whatever problems or scenarios that they might be facing. Like I'm saying, I'm not suggesting that you be dishonest or lie about, what your products or services can do. But if you're a coach, consultant, or small to medium business, you want to use this approach when you're marketing your services, all right? Find a way to promote yourself that offers certainty, all right? I mean, will my advice make a difference in the results that you achieve? Yes, it will. It's money in the bank. No ifs, no buts, no maybes. Do this. Sell certainty, all right? Instead of trying to, bring in logic where logic is not needed. Okay? And pretty much after that, be authentic. Like I said, people buy from people. So let your customers experience you, all right? Authenticity gives people certainty about how great it will be to work with you, once they cross the line. Look at your website right now. How can customers experience you apart from the text or the images that you have? Is there a chat button? Do you give them certainty that when they press buy, somebody will be on the other side to help them if they've got any other questions? Is there any videos that your customers can watch? Is there any social proof that shows that other people have also bought from you? Is there any referrals? Are you actively asking for referrals? Let me tell you something. Are you selling enough Certainty to grow your sales and your revenue opportunities? I really want you to review this podcast and figure out what it is that you are doing within your business that will actually start getting people to know, like, and trust you. You know that people buy from those that they know, like, and trust. So you might look at this podcast and think, man, that was good. That was a bit of motivation. But will my advice make a difference to the results that you will achieve? Of course. It's money in the bank for you. No ifs, no buts, no maybes. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au